What's going on, Wise Guy Mob? Thank you for the comment, Grim Reaper. If you got some cannolis and gelato, send them on over, brother. But that being said, guys, um, we're going to be doing a three-part series. And sorry to be rude, Guzzo. I got Guzzo to my left. We're going to get him introduced in just a second. But first, I want to get into what exactly we're doing here. So as I said before, and on my TikTok, if you caught that, is we are doing a three-part series. Today we will be discussing cancel culture, the things around that, what it means, essentially the left silencing people of the right, people of a different viewpoint of theirs. And to me, I think that's unconstitutional. I think it's wrong. I think people should be able to express themselves respectfully and as they see fit, as long as it's within the parameters of the law. Unfortunately, it's not being allowed to happen because if you have a different viewpoint, if they don't like what you say on Twitter, if they don't like what you say on social media or publicly, they will try to cancel you. And by they, I mean the radical left. I mean, what is it called? Oh, right, Democrats. But no, but guys, basically, this is a discussion about can it be stopped? Can we get past it as a society? And the forum is open for questions, concerns. If you have a different viewpoint than mine, feel free to share it. I'm open to discussion. This isn't a one-stop show or a one-view show. I mean, you guys are welcome to express yourselves how you see fit, as long as you stay within the parameters of my rules. But that being said, guys, Guzzo, go ahead and tell the people who you are, what you're about. Go ahead and give yourself a quick plug, and we'll do the real plugs at the end. But go ahead.
Alright.
The floor is yours.
Hello everybody, I'm Guzzo. I am a gamer, live streamer / YouTuber. I pretty much do anything from gaming to discussions to anything that has to do with cancel culture type stuff and or the deep state conspiracy stuff like that.
Politics.
But that's all I've got for me. So.
All right. So and stay tuned, guys, because there will be a second and a third part to this with different topics. I'll kind of delve into them a little bit. We're gonna talk about the riots, BLM, Antifa, Democrats, radical left. We'll go into heavy detail about that on the next show, and we'll also talk about the political election. I'm sorry, presidential election. On the third part, as well as deep state conspiracy theories and other kind of stuff. I know Guzzo has some screenshots he wants to share. I think today or on the next one. I'm not sure.
It'll probably be on a later one.
Okay. I think that has more to do with the conspiracy theories and stuff like that, guys. So we'll get into all that. I have to actually check them out before we post them up on Twitch. But that being said, Guzzo, why don't you tell me what you know about cancel culture? As I know going in, you said you weren't the expert on it. You weren't 100% up on it. I think you probably know more because of what's always in the media and you hear about it, but you probably just don't pay much attention to it. Go ahead, tell me what you know.
Well, apart from, like, as far as the censoring, I do know how out of hand that has gotten with cancel culture and everything like that.
Well, that's what it is. It's essentially censorship.
Okay, then, yeah, I can go into some details about that, yeah, and have some opinions. Yeah, but it is, as far as, like, I don't know, like, I guess really that's probably about all I know on that aspect. I'm sure there's a little bit more involved in that, but
oh, yeah.
As far as just, as far as the censorship side of things and stuff like that, that would probably be the extent of what I know.
Yeah, and I mean, what I don't like is that they call us the silent majority, and by us I mean conservatives. They call us the silent majority. And I don't like that we almost have to stay silent or live in fear of being canceled. Now, if you're a big player, if you're like Apple, Microsoft, fucking these big conglomerate companies, it's very easy not to be canceled. Just say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Just say no. That's literally all you have to do to not be canceled as a big company or a big presence in social media, all you have to do is say no. No, you're not
Right.
going to cancel me. No, I'm not going to apologize. No, I'm not going to entertain what you're trying to put out there about me. Fuck off.
Right.
Literally all you have to do. And they have zero power. But if you entertain them, here's what happens. If you say, oh, you're right, I'm sorry, blah, 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 it doesn't stop there. No. They will push and push and push until you're gone. Until you're fired. Until you no longer have a platform. Until your company goes out of business. You name it. One of the newest ones, and it blows me the fuck away. What is wrong? Like, where does it end? You know, you got Goya,
Yep.
a Mexican food company. It's all they do. All they do is make Spanish ethnic food.
Right.
They want to cancel Goya. They want Goya off the shelves, guys. Ask me why.
Like, I want to ask you why, but there's not going to be a
Your
good
brain's
reason
gonna
why.
hurt. Your brain's gonna hurt. So the radical left want Goya off the shelf because the CEO supports Trump.
I want to ask you why, but there's not going to be a good reason why.
I'm just.
Wait.
So you can no longer support your president as a United States citizen without fear of being canceled. What the fuck? Where does it end? Where does it end?
I have a different opinion, so therefore, oh, guess what? I can't do nothing with my life.
It's fucking ridiculous. I'm just gonna show you a picture. This was a picture that Trump took basically to piss off the cancel culture when they started going after Goya. I cracked the fuck up. Hold on, let me see if I can get it up here. But essentially it is a picture of Trump, and you can find it on the internet. It's hilarious. The interwebs. It's hilarious. It's him sitting at the Oval Office desk with a bunch of Goya in front of him, smiling like, yeah, bitches. It's great. I love it. But yeah, so that is one of the latest in cancel culture. They're going after Goya, and I just want to know what you think about that, Guzzo. What do you think about that, Grim Reaper, in the chat as well?
That's bullshit. Like, how just because somebody supports a certain person, like that literally speaks volumes. Like, I don't think people understand how loudly that speaks volumes.
Oh yeah, no, it does, because then where does the buck stop? Where's the limit?
Because like, is it gonna get to the point to where because I said a certain name or because I looked a certain direction at a certain like
what if I like
party?
wearing red and they like wearing blue, so I can't wear red anymore without being canceled? What if it gets to that stupid?
Yeah. Like what? I can't say the words Destiny 2 now because it's a political certain standpoint. Like how, like why are we getting to a point to where, like, I could see it getting so bad to it start affecting. Well, it's a good thing I brought gaming up. It could get to a point to where, oh, does your game have this color that supports?
It's already happening, Guzzo. It's already happening.
Like,
look at Borderlands, the newest Borderlands.
Which I haven't played yet.
I mean, they said the newest Borderlands got bullied into making the robot character where, see, I can't even say if it's gender because it's against the rules. They made him non-binary. The one that has the animals with him as his companion made him non-binary, meaning if you refer to him, if you refer to it as a he or a she, you can be banned from the game permanently. thing. Been a thing since launch.
You know what? You know
Been a
what?
thing since
I remember
launch.
that because they did that. They had to do that with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk kind of snubbed their nose at them. So what Cyberpunk did was they started giving them shit about it. So they said, okay, you know what? You want to pick your genitals? You want to pick your gender? You want to be non-binary? Tell you what, you put a dick on a girl and a pussy on a guy. We don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, we'll even put a slider in. You can make the dick as big as you want.
Yeah, yeah.
You can give her some big old pussy flaps.
It's bad. This is ridiculous. Like,
it is. It's gotten to a point of. It has gotten to an absolute point of chaos.
Yeah. That's like they're wanting to add it to where you can't even use the words male or female anymore.
Nah, fuck that. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck.
Exactly. Do you remember when they were trying to get the whole Z thing to be a thing? Like,
look, if you want, look. I don't care if you want to choose to. If you were born a woman and you want to choose to be a man, that's your choice. Go for it.
Yeah,
go for
fine.
it. But when did the line disappear? And I don't mean fade. I mean, where did the line fucking disappear on you pressing your viewpoints on me and forcing me to agree with it? Because I wasn't there for that memo because I definitely would have objected.
Exactly. Like, it's not okay. Like, you can't, because nobody can force their viewpoints on.
Oh, but they can, because if you're woke, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. You can force your viewpoint down my throat, and I can't say dick about it, or I'm racist, or I'm a bigot.
That's what they're trying to. Yeah, that's what they're trying to push for, which is stupid. Look, that's I preach on that so much. There's nothing wrong with having a different viewpoint. There is nothing wrong with you saying, I want to be a zebra, I want to be a robot.
Including in this chat, guys, if you don't agree, speak up. We can talk about it.
Like,
I love using the Socratic method.
I never have a problem with people saying that. You want to be a poster? Be a poster. Don't sit here.
Hey, Guzzo, you know what? I've made my decision. I'm going to identify as a fucking cheetah.
And you know what? Go for it.
I'm a fucking cheetah, guys.
But you know what? But the one thing I don't support people doing is that, hey, I'm a dragon, so guess what? You have to be too. No, I don't.
Wait. But Guzzo, since I identify as a cheetah, does that mean I can go out in the front lawn and take a shit? Is that allowed now?
Hey, I mean, if you...
Am I woke enough? I'm sorry, I know this sounds facetious, and I know this sounds silly, and it is silly, but guys,
it's a valid point. It's a valid point, though. I mean,
if Drew Bledsoe tomorrow can come out, throw on a wig, get a fake pair of tits, and say I'm a girl, and then he can go in the women's bathroom tomorrow, why can't I go outside and take a shit? I'm a cheetah, damn it.
I mean, it's a very valid point. I mean, it really is. And to be honest, that's the thing. Like, if that's the thing.
By the way, cheers, wise guy mom. If you got them, knock them back. I'm sipping on some bourbon with y'all. Much love.
But that's the thing. Like, if, like I was saying, you know, if I claim to be a dragon, I want to go breathe fire. That's my business. I want to sit here. And like you said, you want to pretend to be an animal, you want to go shit in the yard. That's your decision. Don't do it on my yard.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I saw a YouTube video a while back, and there was this, we'll say transgender, that was at GameStop, and they were very irate about their purchase.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And they called the transgender, they called them a he. Or a him. And he got so mad. They got so mad. I'm trying here, guys. I'm really trying. I'm trying to be woke. But you got so. It is ma'am.
Yeah.
Yo, your voice is deeper than mine, motherfucker. You got. You got the manliest face I ever seen. You can't be mad at that boy. You can't be mad at
You
him.
really can't. You
Because
really can't.
and I'm gonna say it again, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. Now, if you correct me, I will respect your wishes.
If you
But you can't get mad at me off the rip and say, it's ma'am. Like, what?
Yeah. They
Hold
have
the
to
fuck
respectfully. They have to respectfully correct you. Not
Yo,
get the fist cuffs out and be like, it's ma'am.
yo, he was wanting to bang on him. He was wanting to bang on him. He said, come outside and I'm going to show you a ma'am. Like, wait. Hold on. Yo, if I was that employee, I would have literally lost my job because I would have looked them dead in the face. Them, I said. I would have looked them dead in the face and said, ma'am? Well, then, goddamn it, I'm a cheater. And you look like a tasty snack.
You know, and that's the thing, like, you know, respectfully correct somebody if they're wrong.
Right.
Don't always be ready to fight or to pop them off if, oh, excuse me, it's this, and be ready to stab them like,
yo,
I'm sorry. Like,
he had knives coming out. He had
like,
they had knives coming out their eyes. Sorry,
yeah,
it's hard.
like,
It's hard to use the pronouns correctly anymore.
It really is though, like, because
I grew up in a different era, I guess. I guess I'm just beyond this fucking. Look, I'm only 29, guys. But I feel like I grew up in a way different reality than some of these people that are out here nowadays, because it's like I just don't understand the animosity. Like, yo, you got a bigger bulge in your pants than I do.
How can we be?
Why am I getting in trouble right now? Because I thought, look, everybody sees the bulge, man.
Yeah, and the thing is like, how can us in our 20s, from our 20s to 30 years old, how can we all of that generation be that generation, but at the same time?
But here's how we tie this in, though. If we were a ninja or a shroud or a Dr. Disrespect's a bad example right now because he's currently banned, but he's an unmentionable. But if we were any of those people talking about what we're talking about right now, they'd be wanting to cancel us. Yeah. Point blank, they would want to cancel us.
Of course.
And that's ridiculous.
It is.
Why is it that I can't have a different viewpoint than you? Why does that make me a villain? It's not right.
And I find it's getting no better than can I say this? Yeah, because it's no secret. It's no better than North Korea on how bad their censorship is.
Oh, I know. I wouldn't say. No, see, now I'm not going to go that far because, see, in North Korea, it's the government and it's law. We at least have inalienable rights here that protect our freedom of speech.
For now.
We cannot be prosecuted. We cannot be prosecuted. Just like the radical left cannot be prosecuted for going out and holding up a sign and saying, fuck Trump. I cannot be prosecuted for going out and saying that girl looks like a guy.
Right.
I'm sorry. But if you were to now, here's the thing. Everybody, so many people will tell me, and I've heard this too many times, that I've lost count. Canada is so much more woke. They're so much better than America. I want to move to Canada. Go ahead. Misidentify somebody one time. You're gonna catch a fine. Misidentify somebody a second time. You're gonna catch a bigger fine. Do it a third time, you're going to jail, homie.
We'll get there.
You know what? There's one thing that I will say for this country that makes it the best country in the world, and you can argue it with me all day, and I will argue against it. I will argue against you. This country is absolutely the best country in the entire world for one reason and one reason only. It's all you need to argue. Freedom of speech. First Amendment, baby.
While we have it.
Well, that's for part 3, Guzzo. Talking about cancel culture, damn it.
I know. It's that's the thing. Like, it's so hard to. It's so hard to, like, with certain things, like, because when, especially with what's going on now, good Lord, what's going on now. It's so hard for us to, like. It is, and it's hard to talk about certain subjects because when you talk about them, they just lead back to the, well, you know.
I mean, bro, cancel culture is extending to regular people like you and me now. It's not just the famous. I know I said, you know, if we were a ninja or a shark. Well, I didn't mean that we're exempt from it.
Oh, I know.
Look,
I
me
know.
and Guzzo can get canceled like that.
Oh, God,
Just for the discussion we're having tonight, and that's a possibility, and I'm willing to accept it because you know what? Fuck you and fuck your cancel culture. This is my freedom of speech, and this is my viewpoint, and I will speak it if I want to. I'm done being a silent majority. I support the Conservative Party to a very, very targeted extent, but I do consider myself conservative. I do consider myself a libertarian, and I will put my viewpoint out there if I so choose to. However, for you to tell me that's not okay, that's a violation of my right. And you can sit there and try to cancel me all day, but buddy, I'm not going nowhere. And here's the thing, but that's the problem I have, is that it's not just the elite that it extends to anymore. It's the regular people like you and me now too. It's cops. You go look at the Rashard Brooks case. Matter of fact, there was a case, I think it was Atlanta. Was it Atlanta? A black gentleman in an orange shirt was in a confrontation with the police. They were talking. All of a sudden, he pulled a gun, shot it right at the head of the cop that was talking to him. Missed. Holy shit, is he a bad shot. I've watched this video 3-4 times. And thank God he missed, but how the fuck did you miss? You were like 3 feet away. Like, literally as close as I am to Guzzo on this stream. That's how close he was to the cop, and he fucking missed.
I'm going to bring that up in part 3.
That sounds... He fucking missed. And then everybody's in an uproar when he gets killed. You shot a gun at cops.
I can say one thing, and then I'm going to have to save that for part 3.
I want to walk over to that cop and shake his hand and tell him, good job. You got a dangerous man off the street one way or another, and I'm sorry it resulted in his death, but he brought it on himself. And I'm a firm believer of the fact that once you cross a certain line, when you attack a police officer, you have taken your life in your own hands, and whatever happens at that point happens. You reap what you sow. You have caused the situation. Now, if it results in your death, you can be mad at nobody but yourself.
People don't understand that you can be however distance you want to be away from somebody. But if I was to have a knife in my hand, whether I'm 20, 30, 100, 200 feet away, you're a threat. You have a weapon in your hand. You're a threat.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Because...
On a certain standpoint, I'm going to disagree with you. On a certain standpoint. Because if I have a gun, and you have a knife, and you're 100 yards away, I'm sorry, you're not a threat.
Well, yards, no. But if you're within...
If you're 100 feet away, you're not a threat. If you're 50 feet away, you're not a threat. Now, if you're within 10 feet, yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm going to shoot you.
I'm probably not going to kill you if you're 50 to 100 feet away.
No, but that's the thing. No, you cannot say that. I'm going to stop you. You can't say that. Because here's the thing. If you're going to shoot somebody, you shoot to kill. Period. There's no other option. You can say, oh, shoot him in the leg. No. Because what happens? You shoot that man in the leg, now he pulls a gun, he shoots you. No. You shoot to kill. That's what cops are trained to do, and there's a reason for it. They're trained to shoot center mass.
Yeah.
If you're going to take that step, you go all the way with it. There's no half.
Granted,
you know the saying, there's no halfway crooks? Well, there's no halfway shoot.
Granted, they need to actually not be going for center mass. They actually should be just going for the head straight up.
Well, they're trained to go for the head in extreme situations, from what I've been told.
Because, in which they even taught my grandpa when he got his CCW, because he was talking to me about it, he says the rule they taught him when he got his CCW was that he puts two in the torso, one in the head.
Yeah.
Reason why they do two in the
Triple
torso
tap.
is because
Puts you down. Puts you down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And also, when you go for the torso, if they don't go down from the torso, they have a vest on, which means your third and last one
needs to be for their head. You need to remove the threat. At the end of the day, if you present yourself as that much of a threat where deadly force is necessary, and when I say deadly force is necessary, I mean you've pulled a weapon of deadly caliber, meaning a gun, a knife, something that can take somebody's life away at extreme ease. You need to respond in kind as an officer, and they need to be allowed to do so without recompense. It is not fair, and this is why I support these Atlanta officers that walked off the job after the Rayshard Brooks case. That these officers are being prosecuted for murder when this man spiked an officer on his head. And this is tied in, whether you want to admit it or not, this is cancel culture. This is the radical left stamping their feet, hooting and hollering, acting like morons, fucking mutants, because a white cop killed a black guy. But what you're not taking into account is that that black man spiked an officer on his head, nearly killed him. Then beat the shit out of the other officer, stole his taser, ran off, turned and pointed the taser at his face. You can go look up any statistics. You can look up anything you want. You get shot in the face with that kind of taser, you're dead.
Yeah, I had that argument with somebody once before. He's running away. So?
Yeah, he's running away, and he turned. All right, I'm running. You're behind me. I turn with the taser like this, just like this. If you watch the video, he literally goes from running to
me.
Boom, pointing the taser right at his face. I'm gonna shoot me too.
He shouldn't have even made it running, to be honest, because after he spiked the dude on his head, which technically was a life-threatening situation and a life-threatening attack, he could have been bought and paid for right then and there. You
cross the line, you reap what you sow. My point comes clear right there. You cross the line of attacking an officer, making him feel at danger for his life.
Especially spiking.
Whatever happens to you at that point, you know what? If all you do is go to jail for that, you should thank God. You should fucking bow down and thank God that you weren't killed. Because God damn it, you deserve. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong wording. Nobody deserves to die. But if it happens, you brought it on yourself.
Because really, to be honest, the fact that
and I'm gonna put this in perspective. I don't think George Floyd brought that on himself. He didn't. Did he have a violent history? Yes. Should he have been approached differently than me or you? Yes. He's got a history of violent crime. He spent the majority of his adult life behind bars for violent crimes. Should he have been killed for having a counterfeit $20 bill? No. No, that was disgusting. That officer deserves to be punished. But that's not enough.
He'll commit suicide.
No. No, what's going to happen is he's going to get acquitted. You know why? They overcharged him.
Here we go.
They charged him with second-degree murder. And the Democrats are going to love it because they want They want more riots. They want more division. So what's going to happen is he's going to get acquitted because there's not enough evidence and there's not proof of intent or the stipulations that go with second-degree murder to charge or to convict him of second-degree murder. So he's going to get acquitted, and then it's going to be more riots. Everything's going to surge again. Everything.
Oh man.
That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, dude. And it's going to happen with the Rashard Brooks case, too, because that officer is not going to get convicted. There's no way any judge in the United States of America can convict that man of murder. No fucking way.
Oh, we're...
They're trying to create, I strongly believe, and you can tell me I'm crazy for this, but I strongly believe the radical left with cancel culture and the prosecution of police for doing their job, and I'm going to preface that again, doing their fucking job, protecting us, they're going to create a civil war. If it hasn't started already.
All I got to say is, society, you're so glad. Be so glad we're on Twitch and Twitch doesn't allow certain things because... Oh man, society.
Well,
oh man.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can say. I think you're a little bit too scared with Twitch. There is a lot you can say.
Well,
it's just that you cannot be belligerent, you cannot be racist, you cannot be...
Well, we don't have to worry about the racist and all that other shit. But, society, I could really go in on you.
Do it. Speak your mind, Guzzo. Just make sure you mind what you say. That's why I have you on here. I want your perspective, dude. For you to silence yourself, you're going right back into that safety net that we all stay in. The silent majority.
I guess.
And make no mistake. Make no mistake. Guzzo may be a conspiracy theorist. He may believe in a lot of things that are hard to believe. He is a conservative, guys. And that's not me saying it. He'll tell you himself.
I mean,
and me and him used to be liberals.
Yeah, I mean,
you go back what 8 months ago? What, Guzzo? We considered ourselves liberals.
Yeah.
We just couldn't back what they were doing anymore.
And all right, you know what? Screw it. One question that burns, and I'm asking this to humanity. And I hope to God this stream gets put out there. I really do, because I want the question out there as to why humanity, why society, why.
Why what though? You have to. You gotta center it. Frame the argument.
Why do we not learn? Why do we not learn from history? Why do we repeat? Why do we?
Well, how are we supposed to when we're tearing down monuments? When we're tearing down history?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Which we're
canceling George Washington now. We're canceling fucking Abraham Lincoln?
Which we did before. Which before then. We did it again before then. We keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. Matter of fact, Alexander,
you know what? I'm gonna further your argument. Black Lives Matter movement, the organization. That's a lie, by the way. It's a fucking lie. But which Black Lives Matter, Guzzo? You're mixed race, right?
Yeah.
You're mixed race.
50-50.
Go ahead. State your race.
I'm half white, half black. 50-50.
And your girl? And your girlfriend?
She's full black.
She's full black. Is your girlfriend present? She's not on cam, obviously, but is she present?
She's present, but she's got her headphones on, and she's.
Would she be willing to answer a question for you?
Wants to know if you'd be willing to answer a question. You don't have to be on cam. He just wants to know if you'd be willing to answer a question for me. She said yeah.
Okay, you're gonna relay the question. She doesn't even have to be on the audio. I know she has her reservations, and I'm gonna respect that.
Do you mind talking on audio? Okay, she'll talk on audio without being on camera.
Just tell her not to come in front of the camera because it will cut through the green screen and she will be on camera. Just to preface, guys, his girlfriend has a very big objection to being on camera, so I'm trying to respect that. She's not going to come on camera. You're not going to see her, but you will hear her. Hopefully, you'll hear her through his mic. If you don't, if it's too low, I'll let Guzzo know, and he will relay the message. My question is, when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, which Black Lives Matter?
So he wants to know when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, which Black Lives Matter movement?
Is it the Black lives, the 95% of Black lives that are taken by other Black men and women, or is it only the Black lives that are taken by cops and white people? Because I'm really confused. Which Black Lives Matter?
All right.
Hey.
All right. So this is. Do you mind if I use your name?
I don't mind.
Okay. So guys, this is Storm. This is Guzzo's girlfriend. Soon to be wife, hopefully. Gonna throw you under the bus there, Guzzo, by the fucking ring.
No, you good.
Much love to you, buddy. But no. So this is Storm, guys, and she is Black African American. I don't agree with the whole African American label because I'm sorry, you weren't born in Africa. If you were, then I'm wrong and I apologize. But if you weren't, you're a Black American. You're American. Period. She is Black, and I'm asking her the question: which Black Lives Matter when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement? And I'm not trying to imply that she is 100% for the Black Lives Matter movement or even supports it, or maybe she does. I don't know that, but I just want to know, as a Black woman in America, which Black Lives Matter?
Which Black Lives Matter?
Right, because when you look at Don Lemon, when Terry Crews went on CNN and he tried to talk about the 95% of crimes against Black people are by other Black people, that's a huge amount, by the way. 95%. That's a huge amount. That's counting violence from police. That's counting violence from white people. That's counting all violence against Black people. 95% committed by other Black people against Black people. That doesn't qualify to be in the purview of BLM, according to Don Lemon. So my question is, which Black Lives Matter then?
Well, when it comes down to it, there's no such thing as. The first thing I want to get out the way is that there's no such thing as black on black crime. The narrative, the title that they came from is because.
Now, are you saying you believe there's no such thing as black on black crime, or are you saying, as far as they're concerned, there's no black on black crime?
I'm saying that I don't believe there's no such thing as black on black crime because crime typically comes from opportunity, and when Black people live near Black people, they're more willing to commit those crimes.
Okay. Okay, but as a qualitative or as a quantitative characterization, if a Black person kills another Black person, that's a black on black crime, is it not?
Well, how many times have you heard the phrase white on white crime?
That's my point.
Exactly.
White people. Wait. No. Because I think you're taking me the wrong way. I wanna specify. Because you said Black people living around Black people, if there's a crime, it's a crime of opportunity. It's not black on black crime. Am I correct in framing the argument? Okay. White people live around white people. My neighborhood, I'll admit, is probably about 90% white.
Yeah.
We ain't killing each other. We ain't robbing each other. We
Yeah.
ain't selling each other dope.
Yeah.
We ain't overdosing. So you say, is there white on white crime? Yes, there is. It's a quantitative statistic, but it's much lower than 95%. Extremely lower. I can get the statistic later, and I can post it up, and I can give it to you, but it is much lower. There is a very big discrepancy between black on black crime, white on white crime, white on black crime, Hispanic on black crime. 95% of the crime committed against Black people are by other Black people.
Yeah. Same with whites.
No, the numbers don't add up.
There's a long list of serial killers.
There are.
Have you
There are. But serial killers make up, I think, 3% of the crime in the entire country.
3% of the crime?
Yes,
When
because,
they have
because
killed,
when you look at the long list of serial killers, there's only 13 active serial killers right now in America. In the entire country, there's only 13 active right now.
have you seen the history of the?
I've seen the history, and I'm not saying in all of time. I'm saying, as a statistic, as a usable current statistic, you cannot include Ted Bundy in crime now. You cannot include. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and even
Yeah,
if you
I
did,
get what you mean.
no, but and just to go along with you for a second, even if you did include all of the serial killers in history, still would not amount even close to the amount of black on black, 95% of the crime committed on black people by other black people. Doesn't even come close. By the imperial statistics, by the imperial numbers, does not come close. I wish I would have if I knew we would have had this. I'm really happy we're having this discussion. Don't get me wrong. But if I knew discussion was going to come up, I would have had the statistics in front of me, and I would give them to you. And I will send them along to you. That's no problem. But
Well,
statistics. Go
that
ahead.
word is
I got you.
okay. That word is made up from racist white people.
Wrong. Wrong. You're incorrect. You know those numbers are made up by both liberal and conservative. Those numbers are made up by both white and black. Actually, a lot of the numbers that I'm reciting, the 95% of crime against black people by other black people, that comes from the Washington Post, one of the most liberal news networks in America.
Okay.
That comes directly from them. I don't just look. I could sit here all day and just quote nothing but conservative news statistics, and I could sit here and make the strongest argument I could off of that. But at the end of the day, it would be a hollow argument. It would be one side of the story, and I don't want to do that. I want both sides of the story. I want the truth. I want the truth out there.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is Black Lives Matter as a movement, as an organization, and as an existence is racist. Would you agree with that?
No.
Okay, would you allow me to explain my point on that?
Sure.
Okay, so Black Lives Matter, the whole point of it is and this is according to Don Lemon. You aware who he is?
Yeah.
Okay. Don Lemon, for those of you that don't know, is a reporter on CNN, black, claims to be objective. I'm going to put that in quotes. Claims to be objective. Fuck you, Don Lemon, by the way. Piece of shit. Piece of shit. In the same breath, will say I'm objective, but then next breath say I'm telling my truth. Well, the second you're telling your truth, you're no longer being objective. You're telling your truth. That's a bias. At the end of the day, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we can agree that CNN is bullshit and they're not objective whatsoever. They're not, I won't discredit them as a news source, but they are a biased news source at that. They claim to be objective, but they're not. Okay, but back to the original topic. Excuse me. Why is BLM racist? The definition of racism. By definition, BLM is racist because here's the definition of racism, and this is my argument. Anyone who puts another race higher than another, puts one race higher than another, for any reason, is therefore racist. The whole point of Black Lives Matter is to bring more awareness, according to them, is to bring more, I don't necessarily agree with it, but they're saying they want to bring more awareness to black lives in the United States of America, and they want certain liberties and concessions made to them. They want extras that aren't necessarily provided to everybody, but they want it for themselves because they're black. Hence reparations.
No, that's not what it's about.
Okay.
I can tell you what
I'm
it's
not
about.
saying that's the story. Okay, maybe I worded it wrong, but it's not the core theory of it. But have they not asked for special treatment for black people?
they're asking for equality, not special treatment.
Equality is not reparations. Equality is not getting into a college purely because you're black over an Asian who has better SAT scores, better grades, and has accomplished more than a black guy. But because the quota is what it is, and they have reparations, the black guy gets in over the Asian. That's a fact.
No,
It's been proven.
they're
Yes, it is.
they're talking about situations like a black person who's smart, just as smart as a Asian person
Should get
and
in.
go-
I agree. But that's not how it
That's
works.
what they're talking about.
But that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Not even a little bit. What it is, how it works is that these colleges, like I'm just gonna use college campuses because it's a really good example. Asians are extremely discriminated against.
I agree with that.
They have some of the best scores, some of the best achievements, and are still to this day forcibly driven out of college and replaced with somebody with less merits purely because they're black. And here's
Well-
what that does. Wait. But I don't look at that black person as a villain. I look at them as a victim, because now, and I've seen interviews where that same black person, they look at themselves and they wonder if they belong there. They wonder if they got there based on their merits or if they got there because they were black. And that is
Well,
a horrible way to live. That is a terrible
here's-
way to go.
Here's the point that I'm trying to make. The first thing about racism is that blacks don't have the power to oppress others. That's the first thing. The second thing is
But
that
the hard left is doing that with the BLM movement. They're oppressing. What do you call these riots? It's oppression. What do you call attacking people purely because they support Trump and because they have a conservative viewpoint and attacking them for it?
I call it karma, because America
Karma?
was founded on violence.
No,
America
no, it was
was
not.
founded on
No, it's not.
violence.
We have to disagree there. We have to disagree there. America didn't invent slavery.
I get where you're coming
America
from.
did not invent slavery. Matter of fact, America was the first country in the world to abolish slavery. Did you know that?
There was the first country in the world to abolish it, but
And we've come further than any other country in the world when it comes to equal rights. 100% true.
but it's not equal for black people.
How is it not?
I'm gonna give you an example.
What? Okay. So what you're saying is
white
there's
guy-
systemic racism. What? Can you name
Let
me a
me
single?
explain something to you.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a poor black man and a poor white man go to prison for the same crime.
hmm
The poor white man, 35 years old, get 2 years in prison. The black man, who's 20 years old, get 20 years in prison.
Same priors?
Same crime.
Same priors. Same prior crimes? Based on the same record, clean record each?
Yeah,
The statistics
they
don't support
both-
that.
they both
The
committed
statistics do
the
not
same
support that.
crime. They do.
They don't. I can tell you that right now. I was looking at them yesterday. I was actually watching Ben Shapiro. He was talking about it. And shout out to Ben Shapiro.
Situations like that.
But he actually talked about that specifically. And the imperial statistics do not support that notion. What they do support is a black man going to jail for longer because he has prior crimes against him of the same sort of violent crimes. You will catch a harder charge for that. If you have priors and then you get arrested again, say you have prior violent crimes on your history and you get arrested again for a violent crime, you're going to get a harsher sentence than say me who has no priors.
I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I mean,
And I don't want this to affect me and your friendship. I value you and Guzzo as friends, but what I do go by the statistics, and I stick hard by them. And the statistics do not support what you're saying.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's plain as day.
It's plain
It's
as
a
day
lot of
because that's what you're
situations
told.
like that.
It's what
No,
you see.
that's not what I'm told.
It's what you see. It's what you. I'm sorry. It's what you see in your anecdotal evidence. But as a whole, in the general sense, in the imperial statistics, the statistics don't show that.
All you have to do is go in the prison records and look it up.
I have.
That's all you have to do.
I have, and so has the.
And there's a lot of
so has the Washington Post,
situations.
and so has I'm sorry, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, CNN, NBC, MSNBC. I'm sorry, Fox News. They've all done that, and none of them can produce a statistic that shows the claims that are being made of that. It's not the first time I've heard that claim, and none of the statistics show that.
That's because they're not on record. Just like you didn't hear
it is
about
though.
our
But if you're in
situation
prison,
over
you're on
here.
record.
I can tell you a situation that I experienced personally.
I can tell you one that I've experienced personally, but it's anecdotal.
There was 30 cops that showed up to our house looking for somebody that don't stay here, and they called my mother a cunt nigger bitch.
And that's horrible.
Have,
What? Please
and
don't
they
say
had
that
my
word. Please
grandmother
don't say
up
that word on
against the
stream. I
gate.
apologize, Twitch. Please don't say that word on stream.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You didn't know.
They have my grandmother
Twitch,
up
if you
against
know,
the gate
if you don't realize she is not a streamer, she is not much aware of the TOS.
Okay.
Didn't mean to say that. I apologize. But what I will say is, and I get where you're going with that, and that's horrible. And I've been treated
They
wrongly.
didn't even have that
I'm
on
white.
the news.
I'm Italian and white, and I've been treated horribly by the police at times. It doesn't change my opinion of the police as a whole. It doesn't. And at the same time, it also doesn't adhere to changing the overall statistics of the situation. I could be beaten bloody by a cop tomorrow, and maybe my personal opinion of police changes. But at the end of the day, the statistics will still show the same. Because one case does not change 1,000.
Well, I personally know.
And you cannot be in prison and not be on the record.
I personally know over so many people who have been to jail for the same thing that a white man has.
Look,
and they got more time than a white guy.
And
this
that is where
what
the
we
appeal system.
experienced.
Listen, it's not a perfect system. It's not a perfect system. And
Of
again,
course it's not. But you
and
have
it
to understand
needs-
what it's like to walk in our shoes.
and I agree with that. But burning down buildings and beating people to half to death or to death at times, and shooting black officers doesn't get that message across. In fact, it hurts your message. It ruins
I mean,
it. Because at the end of the day, since
there are people that's being killed on a regular basis by
so is
cops
ours, so is
all
white,
the time.
so are white people. Did you know more white unarmed men died this year than black? Actually, almost double. 9 unarmed black men died this year by the hands of a police officer. 10 unarmed black men died this year as a by the hands of an officer. 18 or 19. I'm very fuzzy on that, but it doesn't matter. The point is the same. We'll lowball it. We'll say 18. 18 white men unarmed died at the hands of an officer. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's absolutely true. It's proven. It happened. Matter of fact, there are videos of at least half of these white men being killed, and they're not publicized by the media. They're not publicized by anyone. They die. They get hidden on YouTube. I could bring up a video of a white man sobbing for his life and the life of his girlfriend, begging the police officers not to kill him. They shot him 18 times in the chest and back.
Well, if it was around a
It's a
poor white
problem.
neighborhood, or
It wasn't.
if that guy
It was in a hotel in a very nice neighborhood.
depending on what that guy was known for, I'm pretty sure.
Law-abiding
That's why they-
citizen, never had priors. All he did was he was drinking in the room with his girlfriend. He was an exterminator, and he was showing her his. As an exterminator, he uses a. I think it was a pellet gun. A high-power pellet gun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he was showing it to her. He wasn't leaning out the window with it. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't threatening anybody with it. He was showing it to her. The window happened to be open. The shades, not the window itself, but the shades happened to be open. People down at the pool could see into his room, saw the gun, called the police. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that, actually, because in the current climate with the mass shootings and everything, if I saw a guy up in his room brandishing a gun, might be a little alarmed. You know what I mean? It happens. It's a mistake, but it happens. Call the cops. You did the right thing. Okay. Because you could have prevented a tragedy.
Then maybe that's one of the reasons.
And then the cop showed up. They ripped them out of their room. They made them kneel on the ground. They made them crawl towards them. He had his hands behind his head, and he was told to crawl. How do you crawl like that? Black or white? How do you crawl like that? Without falling flat on your face.
But maybe that's why a lot of white people
and because he removed
were involved with Black Lives Matter this time.
I'm sorry, what?
I said that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of white people was more involved with Black Lives Matter this time.
The only white people involved with Black Lives Matter were Antifa, and Antifa is considered a terrorist group.
They weren't the only ones. Over here in Chicago, there was a lot of them.
They identify most of them. Okay, not the only ones.
They weren't Antifa.
You should never. Okay, you should never speak in absolutes, and I was wrong for that. The majority of white people that have supported Black Lives Matter, that have been out there rioting, are Antifa. Matter of fact, I will honestly say there is more Antifa probably out there rioting than black people, than BLM.
Yeah, I know.
Look, I get your perspective and I understand it. Trust me, I grew up in one of the worst cities of America called Trenton. You can look it up. It's literally rated one of the most violent cities in America. I grew up there. I grew up around corrupt cops. I grew up around great cops. I still know some of the great cops. Guess what? The corrupt cops, they're gone. Haven't seen them.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's good. That means they were weeded out. That doesn't mean that's the solution. I think we need less rioting, we need less violence, and we need more training. We don't need to defund our police. We need to refund our police. We need more training for them. Did you know a police officer literally gets... Oh, shit! Legit, thank you for the raid, brother. I am so sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I'm so involved in this conversation. I missed it, and it did not show up on my screen. But thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the raid. Welcome to the Wise Guy Mob, everybody. If you have hit the follow button, please smack that. If you haven't hit the follow button, please smack that follow button and ding my dong. Hit the notification bell. But where was I? I'm sorry.
I totally forgot.
ADHD is ruining me right now. I know you are legit. I love you, homie. Big ups to you. Alright, brother. Definitely check out the rest of this on YouTube when I post it, brother. It'll be up there tomorrow. Refresh my memory. What were we talking about leading up to it? Come on. Come on. We got this, Storm. We got this. I believe in you.
I know we left off at talking about the rioting and looting.
Okay, so we need less rioting, we need less looting. What we need is, and we don't, and the hard left, they're crying out to defund the police. No, refund the police. Refund the police. Ask me why, Storm. I know that comes out as like foreign to you, right? Because I've heard your viewpoint, and I'm assuming that would probably seem foreign to you to give the police more money or continue the money that they're getting, right? Does that seem foreign to you?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, for argument's sake, ask me why I want to refund the police. Why I want funding for the police.
Why do you want funding for the police?
More training. I want the biggest, baddest cops on the street. You know why?
Why?
Because here's the thing. Currently, do you know how much training these cops get? Combat training, hard situation.
Oh yeah, training? I know. I
4
know.
hours a year. In most cases. 4 hours a year. Now let's switch to a Navy SEAL. They train for 18 months straight.
But you know, they
For a
also
for a 6-month deployment. For a third of the time that they're training, they're going to be out there. I want not that caliber of training, because then, you know what I mean, that's ridiculous for a cop. But I want a cop to get ample training. Why?
most
Because it
of them
comes with a
fail
confidence.
the psychological training.
There should be a harder psychological screening, I agree. But when it comes to the training, I want way more combat training, way more hard situational training. And here's why. Because when a cop goes through that kind of training, what comes with that is confidence. And
Yeah,
that sounds almost to the outsider minuscule or stupid. But it's not. It's not stupid at all. And the reason is because a cop with 4 hours of training goes into a situation like George Floyd. Maybe he panics. Maybe he stays on his neck too long. Maybe he didn't do that on purpose. Now, I'm not advocating for that officer at all. What he did was fucking wrong. George Floyd didn't deserve to die for a counterfeit $20 bill. Was he a saint?
Yeah.
Fuck no. Did he deserve a folded flag on his death? Absolutely not. That's bullshit. The guy was a fucking drug addict. He was a violent ex-criminal, and he was committing a crime when he died. Doesn't deserve a flag whatsoever. I'm sorry. But did he deserve to die? No. But let's forget all that for just a second, guys. Just walk with me for a sec. Let's say that cop panicked. Maybe he didn't have the training he needed for that situation. Maybe he stays on his neck too long because he doesn't know better. Put a cop with ample training in that situation. That cop has 4 other cops around him. He has his knee on his neck, or on his back. He puts the cuffs on. He's got the cuffs on. He gets off. Why? Because he's confident that he has control of the situation. Because now the situation is handled. If that guy wants to try to get up, he ain't moving far. He's got 5 cops around him. He's got handcuffs on. You've handled the situation. You can move on. Instead, you have cops that are scared in those situations because they haven't had enough experience.
Exactly.
And
That's why I say it's
defunding the
best for
police is only going to
military
make that issue worse.
in that position.
Defunding the police is only going to make that issue exponentially worse.
I think military people are more equipped for that type of position.
I think so to a degree, but then you have to take into account the psychological screening. You know, you have PTSD. I'm not saying all military people have PTSD or are unfit to serve as police officers, but I'm saying if you limit it to only military, you're going to get some bad eggs in the group that way.
Oh yeah,
There's no
I agree
perfect
with
way
that.
to recruit a police officer, but I think you can mold a perfect police officer through training. And I think 3 months in the academy and 4 hours a year of training is not enough to make them perfect, even a decent police officer. And I think it's a godsend that we have so many that there are.
I think that the military people, because they have actually been out there in the field and in war, I think they are better equipped for this. That's my take on it.
I would agree with you, and I
Because
think
they're
that
like-
military people should have an easier route into the police academy, or through the police academy and into being a police officer. However, I don't think we should only limit it to them.
I don't think we should only limit it to them, but
I think
also
if Guzzo tomorrow wants to go out and be a cop, I think he should be able to go to the academy. I think he should get plenty of training and become the best cop he can be.
True, but they also have to train him on
Speaking to people.
what he has to face in the field.
Right.
Oh,
No, and that's where the situation. I want you to, Storm, would you do me a favor over the next couple days and get back to me?
Yeah.
I want you to go watch the video on YouTube with, you've heard of Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Jocko Willink?
No.
He's a Navy SEAL. Very respectable person. I would love to see him run for president, honestly. I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. Very, very smart individual. He goes around to different military bases, also businesses, corporate businesses, and he teaches leadership. He teaches how to lead your people properly and not the wrong way. He's got a very, very good head on his shoulders, and he actually spoke about exactly what we're speaking about on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I would love, if you want, I can even link Guzzo in the. I can link him the video. I would love for not even just you, but you both, to watch that podcast. It's a rather long one, so I'm going to give you a couple days.
I have one that I want to suggest to you as well.
I'm always willing or open to new information.
On that
I will send you the video, and I'm going to get back to you in 3 to 4 days. Do you think you could watch it by then? I don't expect you to sit through the whole thing in one shot because it is rather long. I think it's I think if I'm not mistaken, it's 3 or 4 hours long.
Okay. On that same show, Joe Rogan.
It's extremely, extremely informative. It gives you a very, very concise perspective. And then I also want you to watch a certain video from Ben Shapiro. Do you know who Ben Shapiro is?
No.
He was an analyst. He was a political analyst on a conservative political analyst on Fox. He since quit Fox because he hated the manipulation that was going on in the mainstream media, and he created his own YouTube channel where he speaks his where he kind of tries to give as much factual information as opposed to biased information. But he does admit that he is a conservative and that his information could be construed as biased. At least he doesn't say he's objective like CNN, who we all know is furthest thing from biased.
Okay, so on that same show, Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I want you to look. I
might have watched this because I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, but go ahead.
His name is Michael Woods. You ever heard of him?
No. I heard of this one, and I've been wanting to watch it. It's one of those that I will listen to while I'm probably doing other things. That is one. You're right. I do need to watch that one.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about that episode. I heard it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It definitely.
I will say the same about the Jocko Willink one and the Ben Shapiro episode with Joe Rogan.
I'll make sure I watch them. I'll definitely make sure I watch them.
You want to look for Ben Shapiro and Jocko Willink. And actually, I would say you should probably watch the Ben Shapiro one first, because the Ben Shapiro one is more factual as far as statistics and everything we've actually talked about with statistics. And then the Jocko Willink is more of the anecdotal and the what he thinks would fix the country.
Okay.
And I'm going to say something else. I want to know your opinion on it.
What's up?
I think 2025, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jocko Willink should run for president and vice president.
Well, who are they?
You don't know who The Rock is?
Oh, you said The Rock.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Yes.
Why him?
Why him? A lot of people look at him just as a wrestler or an actor, right? They don't realize he's extremely smart, extremely articulate. He's owned multiple businesses and succeeded.
What about Jeff Goldblum?
He's too soft.
Too soft?
He is. No. And here's why. Jeff Goldblum is, and you can see in the way he talks when he's talking. I love Jeff. All right, look, I want to preface. I love Jeff Goldblum. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think the way he talks alone, just his cadence, gets me. I love him. And then he comes out with a point. I love it. It's fucking hilarious. And it almost seems like he's doing it on purpose, but I actually think it's a nervous tick. But I brought that up because it plays into my point. That nervous tick is weakness.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay? When you're president, you have to be able to put on almost a bravado. A shield, if you will.
A shield, okay.
Because you are going up against countries of the caliber of China, North Korea, you know what I mean? Russia, Putin. Like, you gotta be able to fucking hammer it home. You gotta be able to put yourself out there, you know what I mean? And I just don't see Jeff Goldblum being that guy. I just don't.
You're right.
I think he's a supremely compassionate individual, and he's actually, I'm glad you brought him up, because he's another one that got canceled off of the fucking show he was doing, the drag show. which is
Yeah,
fucking ridiculous.
he's a smart ass man.
He is a smartass, but he's also very intelligent.
That's what I'm saying. He's a smart ass man.
No, but he is also a smartass.
Oh.
He is a very big smart. He's very sarcastic, and I love him for it. But he's very intelligent, and nothing he said on his show was in any way, I think, blasphemous or cancel culture worthy. I think that he's just another white man on the list to cancel off of social media.
Mm.
I think all he did was say, and do you know what got him canceled or no?
Nah, I don't know at all.
So Steven Crowder talked about this. Also a conservative on YouTube, also worked for Fox. He also worked for CNN for a short time. Told CNN they could shove it because reasons. I can go into that all day. I love the guy to death because he rebelled against the mainstream media because of the same reasons as Ben Shapiro. But Steven Crowder talked about this thing that happened with Jeff Goldblum, and essentially what happened was he was the host of that drag queen show. You know which one I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Essentially, transgenders or transvestites. I know there's a difference, guys, and I apologize for my lack of knowledge on this topic, but essentially they would do a drag queen show, and there was judges that would judge the drag queens based on their outfits and their looks, and who won. Kind of like American Idol for drags and not singing. That being said, he had a contestant on there that was Indian or Pakistani or he was from the Middle East, I believe, actually. And as we all know, transgender, LGBTQTZY, whatever the fuck it is not well accepted in the fucking transgender or in the Middle East. Can we be on agreement on that?
Yeah.
Okay. They prosecute them. They kill them. They stone them to death. And he was still well within his religion, like he was very a devout Muslim, I believe. And so Jeff Goldblum basically was like, it's very interesting to see that you are of this lifestyle, but also a devout in your religion. And very interesting. Almost seems contradictory. And could you give your viewpoint on that? All he said, he was made out to be a bigot and taken off the show.
Mm. Yeah.
Please, somebody justify that for me. I'll wait.
Yeah, it can't be justified.
It's wrong. It's very wrong to be able to go after somebody's livelihood, their career they've worked all their life for, purely because you don't agree with what they said.
Exactly.
I mean, me and Guzzo brought it up at the very beginning of the show. Do you know they're trying to take Goya off the shelves purely because the CEO supported Trump?
Really?
President of our country. You're not allowed to support him or you can be canceled.
Wow.
They want
That's crazy.
the radical left want Goya taken off the shelves. A Mexican food company. All they do is make Mexican food, and it's delicious. I love it. But they want them taken off the shelves because the CEO supports Trump.
Wow.
Are we not at a point of not only hysteria but ridiculousnse? I feel like Rob Dyrdek's going to come out of the back and say this was all a prank. You tell me, Storm.
The problem with the United States is that people don't know how to work through synergy.
It's not just that people don't know how to work through synergy. I think there's and we're going to get into this. I want you to appear on the next episode. Not the next one, but the final episode when we get into the deep state stuff.
Okay.
I think there's a very dark conspiracy by the Democratic Party, the hard left Democratic Party, to create division in this country. I think that they are very much so, and I think the BLM movement does this too, is they push a very Marxist, very communist socialism view on the country, and I think that is a big mistake. It scares the shit out of me, And I think it's all too much of a coincidence that we are on the brink of war of the communist China. That this is happening now.
And that's why I spoke on synergy. You know what synergy is?
Yes, it's working together to achieve a goal. A single goal.
Exactly.
It's a massive amount of people
That's what everybody
working
in
as
the
one
United States
to achieve a single
needs
goal.
to do.
And that's what the United States was founded on. You see, you said before that the United States was founded on violence. And I think you were wrong about that. And I think you almost maybe misspoke about that. I think, in my opinion, the United States was founded on synergy. Was founded on a united group of people working together for freedom. And maybe we didn't get it right off the jump. But I think we have made strides.
Well, here's the thing.
To make it right through history.
Every time blacks try to make economic wealth for themselves.
Go ahead.
Every time blacks tried to make economic wealth for themselves, it was always burned to the ground.
Can't say always.
Here in America.
You can't say always. You cannot. You know why?
It started off that way.
Obama started from a single mom home, poor family.
And it is how many years later?
I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm saying we made strides through history to make it better.
With that.
But to just give people things purely because they're black is wrong. That is wrong.
Well, they're not asking
and in fact, I'm going to go a step further. I don't think it's just wrong.
Black. They're asking for equality.
But reparations are not equality.
Well,
reparations are are black people, black activists. I'm actually not gonna say all black people because there are many black people that I see that disagree with it. But it is black activists that want to make up for lost time. You can't do that and have equality at the same time. You cannot. It is impossible. And in fact, I think the welfare system, because we can agree on the fact that the welfare system is heavily attributed to black people. Not saying white people aren't on it. I was on it for a short time. But I got off it as soon as possible. There are incentives to stay on these government assistance programs. Can we agree on that? There's incentives to stay on them and not get a job, not further yourself and stay in a certain degree of, say, poorness to stay on these welfare programs, these WIC programs, these, government assistant programs. Can we agree on that? There's an incentive.
I somewhat agree with that, but those
hold on. Before you disagree with me, let me make my point.
Okay.
So my point is that I think those systems cripple black people.
They were originally made for white people, though, in the beginning.
No.
Yes, they were.
No. Reparations.
If you go back and look at history,
reparations and welfare were made originally to help black people get out of the
No, they were not. I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you.
I can be wrong. I'm willing to admit if I'm wrong. But here's the thing. My point still remains the same. I still think regardless of the origins, and I'm willing to look at what you're saying. You can prove it to me. I'm assuming you have a source, and I would be willing to look at that. You can send me that on Facebook, Discord, anything. Guzzo has all my info.
Okay.
And I am more than willing to look at that. But for the sake of the argument, my point actually still remains the same, regardless of the origin. I think in 2020 and in the recent years prior, I think welfare, I think all these government assistance programs that have incentive to stay on them, I think they not only cripple black people as a whole, I think they cripple anybody on them. I think they also, what's the word I was looking for? We'll just go with they cripple black people as a whole. And I'm wondering if you know what I mean by that.
Wait, say that again.
I think that government assistant programs, and I'm specifying black people because of the abundance of black people that are on them, and that's not a slight towards black people, it's just a fact. Statistically proven. Not to say white people aren't on them too. I've been on welfare for a very short amount of time. I've been on unemployment. I've been on WIC for my son when he was first born. I think that, and this is statistically proven, that these government assistant programs, these reparational programs, hinder black people. I think they cripple them. I think it provides an incentive for them to stay in the poverty they're in. Because there's much more incentive to stay on these programs than there is to get off of them and become successful and get a job and better yourself. Just like there's more incentive to have more kids out of wedlock to get more assistance.
Well, here's my thing. I'm gonna send you a video about a woman who breaks down the economic system for black people and how she used the strategy of a monopoly game to talk about how we're basically stuck.
And you are. And that I think we both agree, but in different ways. I believe that black people as a society, as a culture, are stuck, and I think they're stuck by these government assistant programs. I think they are hindered from improving and getting out of their situations because of them.
Yeah, and
I don't think you should take them away as a whole. I think. And maybe I don't know the answer, but I think that these programs are actually designed, and all of them are designed by Democrats, by the way.
Yeah,
I think Democrats design these programs to keep black people as a whole under their thumb. Because if you go back in history, you seem very educated, and this isn't meant to be condescending. Who was it? What was the political party that fought for slavery? Was it Republicans or Democrats?
I believe it was Republicans.
Wrong. Democrats.
Okay.
Democrats all the way. Actually, the Republican Party was created in part for black people.
Oh, okay.
That's a fact. Matter of fact, we'll go to recent history. Go back to the 90s and go watch the Biden videos. This great hope the Democrats are presenting to the black community for them. Matter of fact, I'm going to quote him. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. That's what he said.
That's funny.
That's his words. I'm not making it up. You can go find it.
I don't doubt it.
Did you know Obama, or not Obama, I'm sorry. I can go all day about Obama too. He ain't no saint. But did you know that Biden was the same senator back in the 90s that not only instituted, implemented, and fought for the laws that were created and were abolished later that put, as you say, you brought up how many black people were unfairly treated in the justice system. That was Biden that did that.
Yeah, I know.
Why doesn't everybody else know that?
I have no idea. Sheep-minded, maybe.
I can't understand how BLM supports a man that did this. And he did do this. It's in record. You can watch the videos. It kills me. It really does, because with Biden in office, black people are going to be more discriminated against than they ever were, and they're not going to even know it's happening in front of them. It's going to be done in a way that's behind the scenes, and that you're not going to even realize unless you really look deep.
Now, according to the statistics that I saw, they say
Storm,
that.
can you hold that thought for just a second? Guys, we're going to take a brief break. I need a refill on my drink.
Okay.
And I don't want to leave just an empty screen here, so just give me a second. Storm's going to hold that thought, and we're going to come right back to you guys. I know Guzzo looks like he's lost here on the screen. It's because he doesn't hear the whole conversation. But we're going to get back to Guzzo here soon, guys. Don't worry. If you're watching this on YouTube, what you guys are going to see is a brief jump cut. It's going to basically be the moment of silence where we were talking with no audio and the pause screen. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I know those of you that watch these replays know I don't usually do jump cuts in these. I usually play it all the way through so everybody involved knows they haven't been taken out of context. They were fully represented properly, and I intend to continue doing that. That is not going to stop with this channel or these shows, but there will be a brief jump cut. If you're watching this on YouTube, you probably just experienced it. All it was the pause screen, so I could go get another glass of bourbon and Storm could kind of recollect herself and get herself reset to project her point that she was trying to make. Kind of gave her time to do that. But that being said, we are back at it. Storm's going to repeat what she just said. I apologize, Storm. I made a goof and I forgot to turn the mics back on the switchboard, but we're back in there now. So go ahead, Storm.
That's because your ass sitting there drunk.
Not yet. Not yet. But I'm getting there, sweetheart. I'm getting there. Don't you worry. I am only 2 glasses of bourbon, and I need about 4 to start feeling a buzz, okay? 3 minimum. But it's good shit. It's that Jim Beam. It's that Jim Beam, sweetheart. I love this shit. If you like dark liquor, guys, go get yourself a bottle of Jim Beam Apple. Woo! I drink that shit straight. Not even any ice, and it goes down smooth.
I recommend Jose Cuervo.
I can't drink Jose. I black
Why
out.
not?
I don't like it. It's to me. It's
really.
Yeah, if I'm gonna drink tequila, I gotta spend a little more money than Jose to get off on it because Jose it fucks me up. It definitely does. It fucks me up and in a bad way, and I feel like shit the next day every time.
It don't do that to me.
I almost never get a hangover. Like I could, between me and my girl, we could kill a handle of this bourbon. We'll wake up the next day, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, good to go. Like no hangover. I go drink Jose, and she's good with Jose. She likes Jose. Me, I drink Jose, I'm shot for the next day. Completely shot out for the next, and that's how I am with any cheap liquor. I don't know why, but it almost seems like if it's under 20 or if it's under $30, I can't drink it. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's my white privilege.
I don't think so.
But no, I honestly, I think honestly, it's just I've grown accustomed to the finer liquors in life, if that makes sense.
I agree with that.
And I think the cheaper ones now just fuck me up. Me personally, I like Scotch, I like bourbon, I like tequila, but it's got to be like 1800 or above tequila.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll drink when it comes to tequila. I'll drink the 1800, the Espion, or Patron. And then anything above Patron obviously is great, but I think honestly with Patron, you're paying for the name more than anything because I don't think Patron honestly. Here's a fun fact for you guys: Patron is no better than Espion. It's not. Patron literally and Espion taste almost identical. Only it's about a $20 price gap. Straight up. Just me though. Actually, I think it's more of a price gap because I think the handle of Espion will cost you about $60, and the handle of Patron is what, almost 100, 110. Storm, did I lose you? Sorry guys.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Alright, so we're way off topic. I'm sorry, that's my ADHD. Let's get back on topic. Go ahead and discuss what you were trying to get across when we left for break.
Okay, so what I basically said was that from the statistics that I saw, whites make up the largest share of receiving food stamps and Medicaid. And I say that because
Right, but you were including wartime when the wives that were left
yeah,
with
I was
basically
getting to
nothing.
that point.
Right. But if we let's just say hypothetically, what if we cut that time out? What if we cut that part out of the statistics? Then all right, better yet, because that's not fair. If we just cut things out of statistics, that's not fair. That's not a real number, right? But what if we limit the statistics to recent, to the last, say, generation? Would you say that number would probably be the same? I know we don't have that number
Yeah.
off the top of our heads. Do you really think that number would be the same?
Yeah.
You do.
Yes.
I have to disagree with you.
I don't disagree with myself.
Well, not yet. I have a way to make you maybe see a different side of it. Maybe not make you agree with me. That's not the point of the Socratic method. It's just to present different sides of the argument and see if you can come to a common ground. So, here's the common ground I want to come to. Would you say there are more black or white impoverished communities?
You say impoverished communities?
Yeah. I might be making up a word there. I don't know. Like you said, I'm drunk.
Well, it really depends because you have what they call the ghetto, and then you have the white people that stay in trailers all the time.
Trailer parks.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could.
But
You
even
have
in
white
those,
ghettos.
okay, but even in those trailer parks, there's way less crime than there are in those ghettos. Would we agree?
Oh, I definitely don't agree with that. It's
You
about
don't?
the same. It's
You
about
don't?
the same.
You don't think
No.
there's more crime recorded? Okay. Let me reframe that. There is more recorded crime in those ghettos than there are in those.
Yeah,
trailer parks.
I agree with that.
Okay.
They always
Okay.
record
Okay. Because
crime
I
in
realized
black
the way I
neighborhoods.
said it before. I realized fully the way I said it before and made it come off that I was making it like trailer parks are better than the ghettos, and they're not. I lived in a trailer park, also very briefly, and it sucked. I think I met
You will
two
never-
meth cooks, and I
You will,
met
you will never
very
see.
uneducated people.
You will never see like what happened here at the house when over 30 cops showed up here. You will never see that recorded on television, but you'll see that recorded in the white neighborhood.
But is that the problem with the laws? The systemic race, like you called out for systemic racism.
Yeah.
Systemic racism means that there are laws in place that benefit white people over black people, and that's not true. There are none.
That is true.
No, name me one law that benefits.
There
wait,
is
wait, wait.
no.
Well, hold on, wait. Because now we're at an impasse for a moment. Just for a
Okay.
moment. We are at an impasse. Because you are arguing that there is a systemic racism in America, meaning that there are laws put in. I just want to frame the argument. For there to be systemic racism, there needs to be laws put in place or constitutional rights put in place that benefit white people over black people. So if that is the case, okay, if that is the case, I would implore you to name me a single law that is put in place that benefits white people over black. By the law, not by how it's interpreted by a judge, by the law itself, how it's written.
I can only speak from experiences because
You're
the
speaking
things
from the
that-
anecdotal, and I while I respect that,
not just me, but millions of other people.
but allow me to
Who go
help you
through it.
understand what I mean when I say anecdotal. I mean by your experience or the experience of the selective few that you know. That's anecdotal. Imperial is the overwhelming statistics that are calculated by both sides, the conservative
I
and
know.
the liberal. Okay,
I
so
know.
so what you're talking about is anecdotal, and while I respect it, and I'm not trying to disenfranchise you in any way, I do think that you have to take it with a grain of salt when you talk about the anecdotal. And what I mean by that is the few can't ruin it for the many, even though they do it many times.
But it's not just the few that I'm talking about. That's the thing. I'm
But
talking about nationwide.
But you can't say nationwide because you don't know the entire nation.
I don't know the entire nation, but
But
I've
you
known
know
the
what you're
stories
told
that
from
people have come forward with.
right, and you know what you're told, but that's one side of the story.
But I
And
share
that's where
those
we
same
have to bring,
experiences.
but as a legitimate argument, that's where we have to bring statistics into it. We have to look at the overwhelming statistics to back our arguments, because if you only look at the anecdotal, well then what are the point of laws? What's the point of a system if all you look is
I'm
at
not
the
just
feelings?
looking at those.
No, I know you're not, Storm. I know you're not. And that's what I really am trying. I hope you've seen that I'm really trying to stress. I'm not trying to disenfranchise you in any way, sweetheart. I think you're very intelligent. I think you have a very good head on your shoulders, and I've had a very good time discussing this with you. But I do think there's something to be said for when the anecdotal doesn't agree with the statistics, and in a lot of cases it does not.
Well, that's because when it comes to laws that's put in place, they don't share the same equality with black people
In
like
what
it does
way?
with white people. Like, okay, for example,
Now, wait. When I say in what way, I'm asking you, because and right now I'm not trying, even though I am interrupting you, I'm not trying to cut you off and manipulate your argument, but what I am trying to do is frame the argument. So when I say in what way, what I mean by that is, what law in writing is there that is objectively biased against black people?
I mean, it's not going to be in plain writing. It's the way they're treated.
It's the way you're treated, right? Which is the
Exactly.
bad eggs. But that is not a systemic racism. By definition, that is not systemic racism. That is racism, possibly, or maybe it's the judge being a dickhead and having a bad day.
Well, I mean, I can tell you some stories.
But either way,
like
it's wrong,
a nurse,
and I will agree with you.
a nurse coming here to take care of my mom, and she specifically told us, and she was a white lady.
Mhm.
She said that black people don't have the same medical programs that white people have. She told us that, and several others told us that too.
I wouldn't agree with that, because the same insurance plans, the same medical plans, everything that's available to white people are available to black people. It's how they are distributed. It's how they are taken advantage of is what the difference is my position on that. And what I mean by that is the insurance plan I have. I'm gonna go anecdotal myself right now, which in this conversation I've rarely done. Can we agree?
Hmm.
Okay. I've stuck to the imperial. You've really made arguments mostly on anecdotal, and that's fine. I have the benefit of having a lot of statistics at my fingertips that I've pretty much studied up on leading up to this conversation. Should have had them in front of me, because then it would have been a more compelling argument. My dumbass fault. But that being said, I'm going to go anecdotal for a minute. And I'm going to go anecdotal in the fact that I have a very prestigious insurance program. And I'm very fortunate to have it. But here's the thing. I earned that insurance program. I put myself in a position to get that insurance. You understand? I worked very long and hard to get into a job where it was union, where it provided for that insurance plan. I have an insurance plan that is therefore paid for by the union and my job. I pay no money into that insurance plan. I don't pay a weekly benefit fee or anything like that, like most people do. I also have an insurance plan that I could go to the hospital with a gunshot wound, get surgery, get the bullet taken out, all that stuff, live, come out and pay $20.
Yeah.
Okay? That insurance plan is not available to many. It's actually available to very few.
Okay.
So that is a plan in which you're talking about, maybe that maybe black people as a whole are not made privy to. But that is something that
I'm not talking about that at all.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
What I'm talking about is a poor white person and a poor black person on the same Medicaid program. And me and my mother or other black friends of mine will end up finding out that they have more things done for them than we do have done for us. So
Right, but that okay, and that could be a bad actor being in charge of those things. That could be okay because I don't see that in writing. That's and by writing I don't mean to be a stipulator
you're not
on
going
the
to see
argument.
that in writing.
I don't see that in a policy where it says white people are preview to this and black people get this and white people get
Well,
that.
of course, you're
and
not going
white
to
and
see
black.
that.
Right. Which means the problem isn't in the system, which is where your argument falls. And that's what I want to explain to you. When you argue systemic racism, you've lost the argument before you've started. Because by definition, there is no systemic racism. That's not to say there isn't racism. But to argue that there is systemic racism would be to argue that there are laws or policies put in place that in writing and in the law itself benefits one race over the other. And there are none. Not in this country, there are none.
It's not.
There are in other countries. There are in other countries, including
writing.
Africa. There are in countries including Africa, but not in America. However,
I mean, the thing is that
what you're
it's not
talking
gonna
about
be in
is
writing.
generalized racism. You're talking about bad actors, as they've been quoted by the media, bad people that are racist, that are in places of being in charge of those policies that manipulate them in such a perverted way. And I don't agree with that. And that I can be in agreement with you. But when you argue systemic
there's
racism,
a
I
lot
have
of
to
racist people in power that try to
Agreed.
keep black people suppressed.
Agreed. But what I cannot agree with you on is that there's systemic racism, because there's not.
But they are
the
the
facts
same
argue
ones.
against that.
They are the same ones to make sure that we don't get the full benefits of Medicaid like
Right.
the white people.
And those people should be rooted out. Do I think they should be rooted out by cancel culture, by a mob? Fuck no.
Yeah.
No mob should have that kind of power. Because eventually, that kind of power leads to corruption, and I think it's already led to that. When you're trying to take brands like Goya off the shelves, what are you doing, dude? Really, what are you doing? You're just now attacking anybody that has a different viewpoint than you, and that's where it becomes corrupt. Do I think that the real racists that maybe are doing those things in very isolated areas of the nation? Yeah, I think that's wrong. But do I think it's isolated? Yeah, it has to be, because otherwise the imperial statistics would show that anomaly. But they don't. According to imperial statistics, black people are made available to the same medical, any benefit that white people are. Right. Of course they're going to say that. Why? Wait. But they're going to say that because as a whole they are. But in isolated circumstances like you're talking about,
yeah,
they are not. And that,
Agreed.
I do agree, is a fucking problem. And that, I do condemn. We can definitely find some common ground there.
Definitely.
Where we cannot be in agreement, and where I cannot even come close to being in the same ballpark as you, is when you say there's systemic racism. I cannot get behind that, because by definition, there is not. By definition, we are living equally to our rights.
Yeah, by definition, yeah.
By definition, we are. Now, if you want to argue that there is racism that prevents black people from having some of the same rights because of racist people, that I can agree with. Can we find some common ground there?
Yeah, definitely.
then I think the Socratic method is worse for that. Am I right? We came
Yeah,
in, we came into this, we were disagreeing on almost everything, and I think on almost every foundation of the argument, we have found common ground.
yeah, definitely.
Not in just that
I
one
agree
point,
with
but in the many points that we have made. We've gone through a few different, I would say probably several different points in this argument. I think every one we found common ground.
you. Agreed.
I think that this discussion needs to happen more, not between me and you. I think we could do this till we're blue in the face. But I think this discussion needs to be had. This type of discussion needs to be had on a more major level. I think if it did, we would have so much less violence in the country, so much less division, and I think we could come together again as a people. But it's
Yeah,
it's
I
a
agree
far
with that.
stretch to have that kind of conversation because, unfortunately, and this isn't me taking sides. I will outright tell you I am a conservative.
Yeah,
And I think deep down, you're a conservative too. By some of your viewpoints, you do lean conservative. Whether you want to admit or acknowledge that or not, you do lean conservative on a lot of things. And here's the thing about conservative values. I think everybody starts out liberal. I think everybody in their mind when they're young, when they're in their early 20s, late teens, everybody's a liberal. We all see the world through rose-colored glasses, right? But I think
yeah,
as you get older and you get more mature, and I think as you get more skin in the game, as they say, more money in the game, more property, more reason to care, per se, I think you become more and more conservative as you go because you have more of a reason to look at things differently. You understand what I mean by that?
yeah,
Would you say that is true for you too?
yeah,
Because I
definitely.
would honestly say in the last, I'd say 4 to 5 years, my entire viewpoint on this country has changed.
Yeah, definitely. Same for me.
Especially in the last year.
Yeah, same for me.
I used to be hardcore liberal. I used to be fuck what everybody else thinks, do what you want to do, that kind of liberal.
I used to be hardcore Christian, and I'm not anymore.
Yep. I'm Roman Catholic, so I'm built on guilt. But let me give you another anecdotal situation just to kind of cap off the argument that we've found common ground on. You're talking about racism. You were talking about.
Yeah,
Hold on, we're getting frame drop. I want to wait. All right, it's caught up. You were talking about racism. You were talking about how you don't think Black Lives Matter stands on racism. Where do you stand? And please don't make the argument that it hasn't happened, because it happened to me. Where do you stand on black people walking up to a white person and telling them they should kneel because they're white?
I don't condone that. I don't.
'Cause
I don't believe that
I'm
they
gonna
should
I'm
be
gonna go off
treated
camera
like
for a second, guys. Don't fault me for it, but I'm gonna go grab something really quick.
that.
This is a mask that I wear daily because where I live, we have to wear masks by law.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit too. Don't worry. But I do it. I do it anyway because even though I think it's bullshit, and we could go all day about the coronavirus. Maybe that'll be part of our second topic. But I wear a mask every day because even though I don't believe that the virus is that bad where we have to wear masks, and even though I don't believe that this mask even really does all that much, I do it for peace of mind because I have a 3-year-old son and I don't want to bring home the virus to him. So if I could do something as simple as wearing a mask to help prevent that, I'll do it. Why not? I wear this mask almost every day. I have a variation of masks, but this is the one I wear the most. Come on. There we go. As you can see, it is a Blue Lives Matter mask. It's a black and gray flag with the faded line down the middle. Now, it should technically be a blue line, but the faded line represents that. Right? That is the mask that I wear every day. And I will represent it. This is how I have to go out of my house every day.
Wow.
Okay?
You like Earthworm Jim with a
Alright.
hat on.
That's how I go out of my house every day. Now, 9 times out of 10, I go about my business. I have no problems. I had a situation where I was cornered in a 7-Eleven
Wow.
by a black man and told that my mask was racist. That I need to take it off and kneel.
Yeah,
I
I
told him
don't
he could suck
condone
my whole
things
dick.
like that. Wow. I don't condone things like that.
I don't either. But it's a way of life now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is what we're dealing with, and we can't just disavow it or not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I was told to kneel. I was told to take my mask off. I told him he could suck my whole dick. He said, "Excuse me." I said, "Take it off for me." Good luck. Take it off. And he just stared at me for a minute, and I said, "That mask represents my stance for this country. And if you don't like it, you don't have to. You don't even have to like me." But
He said that the flag was racist.
yep. I told him he has no right to tell me to take off my mask because he didn't agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but you can respect me enough to leave me alone about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
You can express your viewpoint, and I'll listen,
Yeah.
and I might have a different one, but you can respect my difference of opinion. And for you to tell me to kneel, I kneel to no man. I kneel to one being, and that is God.
Yeah.
That's it. But what makes you think I'm going to kneel for you? It's not going to happen. And you know what? I was threatened with violence because of it.
You know, my whole thing
And
about
I was
that
ready to
is,
stand up for my right to my viewpoint. And he backed down. Liberal bitch that he is.
yeah.
But
My thing is that you have those who are looking for equality, and then you have those blacks who are looking to oppress the so-called oppressors.
it almost seems like it's a child's game of getting even. Like,
Yeah, it
fucking
is.
get over yourself. It happened. Like, I honestly almost want to follow that TikToker. I don't know his name. But there was a TikTok I saw. And I almost want to follow. And I want Guzzo's. This is going to be Guzzo's segue back in. I want yours and then I want Guzzo's opinion on this. So a TikToker was confronted and told to kneel. And he said, "Why the fuck would I do that?" He goes, "Because of your white guilt." And he took his shirt off, off his back. The shirt off his back, took it off. Right in the middle of the street. And threw it on the ground and said, "Pick that up." And the black guy looked at him and said, "Why the fuck would I do that?" And he goes, "Exactly. You ain't never picked no cotton off the ground, and I ain't ever owned a slave. So fuck your kneeling."
Exactly.
Is there not some logic to that statement? Extreme as it is, and I will say it is insensitive to anybody that did live through that time. There's not very many left. Let's just be honest. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth.
Storm, did you or Guzzo ever go pick cotton off the ground?
No.
Have I made you do that?
No.
As a quote-unquote white man? AKA Italian and Greek? Alright.
No, You haven't.
So why should I have to answer for the sins of my ancestors?
You
Not
should
even
not.
my ancestors. I'm not European. Well, I guess Italy is part of Europe, but you know what I mean.
But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
If you did see, like, okay, there's a lot of situations where there's like racist
I
white
think I
people
know where you're
that
going with this, but go for it. Do it.
they'll sit there and talk shit about a black person and call them every name in the book.
And in
And
every instance, I will tell that person they're fucked up, and I will stand up for them. Especially,
Okay. That's what I
especially if
wanted
they're
to
doing
know.
it in the face of a black man. Absolutely, I'll stand right with that motherfucker. In fact, I've done it.
Now
I'm a
here's
man
the
of
thing.
many. I'm a man of many experiences, and I've lived through a lot of shit in almost
Yes.
30 years. And what I can tell you is, I'm permanently banned from my all-time favorite bar because of this. Permanently.
I can tell you. I can tell you that a lot of people have been in these situations, and the next person standing there will do absolutely nothing.
But is that
They
because of
won't.
racism or fear? You have
Probably
to.
because. Probably
Because if it's by
because.
fear, you can't necessarily fault that person for it, but you don't have to respect them for it. Do you know what I mean by that?
It's either that or uncritical thinking.
And that's just not being educated. And also, you can't. And that's another thing. You cannot technically fault that person for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
too.
you like because your standpoint is if I'm standing there and you're standing there and some dude walks by and calls you the N-word, I should stand up for you. I should stand behind you and
No,
help
no, no,
you.
no, no. I'm not saying that.
I'm making an extreme example. Just walk with
Oh,
me on
okay.
this. Just walk with me on this.
Okay.
Okay, so as a white person, I should see the wrong in that and I should stand against it.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the problem with that. You have a lot of people that are afraid of conflict, that are scared of that kind of thing, and won't speak up. And they shouldn't be faulted for that, but no. Let's
Yeah.
say Guzzo's never fought anybody in his life. He's never had any fight training. Would you really expect him to stand up to somebody twice his size?
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. And you wouldn't hold it against him if he didn't. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Every situation, when it's anecdotal like that, needs its own lens. And you have to look at it from the other people's perspective. That's why the imperial data comes in. This is where I'm tying it all in if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
That's where the imperial data comes in because the anecdotal can't be relied upon solely. You can use anecdotal to make an argument, but you have to back that up with the imperial data. And if the imperial data doesn't back it up, you lose your argument. So with that being said, what was the question that I asked that I wanted Guzzo's, the segue question?
That I forgot.
Fuck. I think it was, wasn't which Black Lives Matter. That's how this all started. Oh, do you think it's wrong for a white man to not, or do you think it's wrong if somebody doesn't stand up when there's racial injustice? I think that was the question,
Yeah.
essentially. All right, so throw Guzzo back on. Let's see it. Let's see his
Okay.
perspective. Thank you, Storm. I appreciate your cadence. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much,
No
and I
problem.
hope to have you back for part 3.
Oh, I will.
We got to get you on cam, though.
Okay.
We got to get you comfortable. Sweetheart, I'm not going to put you out there. Twitch is going to put you out there. You're going to be
Yes,
fine.
Guzzo.
I'll protect you. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if we can work that out for next time. Guzzo, welcome back, brother.
Thank you.
So were you listening to most of that?
I heard a lot of what she said, but
You weren't hearing me. Right.
yeah.
So we were able to find a lot of common ground, which I'm really happy for. We were really able to get to almost pretty much every point of the argument we found common ground on. I really respect your girlfriend. She's got a really good head on her shoulders. Really smart. Don't lose that one. Put a fucking ring on it, bitch.
I've already pretty much got that on done.
There you go. There you go. That being said, there was a segue question that I was asking, and we went off on a tangent a lot longer than I intended, but it was going to go back to you. Do you think that a person of another race should have to stand up when there's racial injustice? Or that they should be looked down upon if they don't? And that's a loaded question, so I'm going to give you a minute. Go ahead.
I only half agree with that.
Okay, go ahead. Because I think we're going to have the same viewpoint, but I want to hear yours because we do disagree on quite a bit at times.
I agree with the fact that if there's racial injustice, whether no matter how severe it is, that anybody of any race should say something. But should they be looked down upon as to the point to where they get completely ridiculed for it? No.
Where if they don't. Now let me put a different perspective on it. You and I, we're confident in our being. We're confident in our ability to stand up for ourselves if it comes to violence, if it comes to, a bad situation for standing up. But what if that person isn't? What if, say, let's just put it in perspective where, I have 10 years of boxing training behind me. I competed in it. I know I can handle almost any aggressive situation I come across. Let's say you have none. Let's say you're a bitch and you have no fucking ability to defend yourself. Are you going to be that inclined to stand up against a bully who's racially injusticing a black person? You're going to be inclined to walk the fuck away or get the fuck out of that situation. Am I not? Am I wrong?
Not entirely, no.
All right, so then if that's what you do because you're afraid for your safety, should you be looked down upon for that?
No, I mean, of course not.
But people are. People are looked at as enabling because they didn't say anything. Bro, the guy's
not okay.
What if the guy's fucking 5'3", 110 pounds soaking wet, and the other guy's my size? Do you really expect that person to try to fucking confront that person?
No.
To confront me.
Honest,
if you're half my size, and I call your girlfriend, even if it's your girlfriend, and I call her the N-word and I fucking go off on her. Now, your instinct is going to be, this guy needs to get punched in the face. But, does yourself, as somebody that is at a way bigger disadvantage, both physically and experience-wise in fighting, are you really going to confront me on that, or are you just going to remove yourselves from the situation? Are you just going to say, you're an asshole, we're not talking to you anymore? Essentially.
More than likely what would happen, of course, I'm going to have to answer this is kind of not
objective. You have to answer it objective where you're the 5 foot guy, 110 pounds soaking wet,
that's what I'm
no
saying.
Fighting experience, no ability to defend yourself. Go.
That's what I'm saying.
You're that guy,
yeah.
Go. You're in that situation, go.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
So, as that person, should you be looked at as a racist as well because you didn't stand up?
No.
But that's how people are looked at. That's
Which is
the problem.
not okay.
It's
now,
not.
what I don't agree with is that, does that mean they shouldn't at least say something? No. If they cannot fight nobody on it and it has to come to that
What
point,
if saying something gets them hurt, though?
Well, for one, if somebody gets that worked up over somebody saying something, they
Bro,
need to...
I'm not talking about logical. We're way beyond the impasse of logical. Because go look at the fucking radical right. They're beating on trucks just because they're flying an American flag. They're beating people half to death because they're carrying an American flag.
I mean, nobody should have
Christy,
this.
thank you for the follow. Appreciate you, sweetheart.
See, again,
I'm not saying in any way this is how you would react, Guzzo. I'm saying
no, I know.
From an objective standpoint.
Objectively, yeah, it's just
You gotta look at it from other perspectives. You can't just look at it from your own. Because I know you personally, if I was to say that all about your girlfriend, regardless of the fact that I've boxed for 10 years, you're gonna punch me in the face and you're gonna take whatever whooping comes your way. With a smile. And you're gonna take it with a smile on your face and you're gonna say, fuck you, I still stood up. Because that's you.
And that's the thing, like, no, not everybody's going to be able to do that. And everybody does need to understand the fact that not everybody's going to do that.
Right.
And that's why that's the thing. I don't agree with somebody that gets treated like shit for that. No, they're not the same as a racist if they're like that.
Nope.
And people do have to understand the fact that if somebody does say something, yes, it's getting to the point to where most of the time if somebody says anything,
it's going to cause a conflict.
Yeah.
It's
and then of course,
that's the thing. You know, and that's the fear that's in the back of a lot of people's minds. You and I, we've been through the tough knocks. We've been through the hard knocks life. Not everybody has, Guzzo. Some people grew up in suburbia all their life and never been in a fight before. If you're that person, are you going to make that your first fight?
No.
Exactly.
And you know the thing is that and a lot of people can say I'm a dick for this, but of course a lot of kids, a lot of boys get told this, you know, growing up that, well, you learn somehow. You know.
I mean, I learned that way. I was taught if you're gonna give the juice a squeeze, you better be ready to. All right, I'm sorry. How does the lesson go that I was taught? If you're gonna give the juice a squeeze, you better know that it's worth the squeeze.
Yeah, and of course, I said it with a grain of salt, of course, because of course there's people killing people with these situations.
Oh, of course.
So no, I'm not saying
Guzzo.
Put your life on
I told your girl. And this is anecdotal at its best, and I'm going to admit that right off the bat. This is not everybody's experience. This is not imperial data. This is just me. I went to a 7-Eleven a few days ago, about a week ago. I was cornered in that 7-Eleven by a black man. I was wearing the mask. Did you see the mask when I put it on?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
I was wearing that mask. I was told to take it off. I was told that mask is racist. It's a Blue Lives Matter mask. I fully know that. I wear it because I support the boys in blue. I got your 6.
That sentence. I know exactly where this went.
He told me it was racist.
Yep.
He said, take it off. He said, matter of fact, kneel. I said, excuse me? He said, kneel.
No.
Told me to repent for my white guilt.
No. You know
what I told him, Guzzo?
No. What?
I think you know what I told him. I told him to suck my whole dick. I said, you can suck my whole dick, sir.
See.
And he said, wait. He said, you're a racist. I said, no, I'm not. I said, why am I racist? He said, that flag represents racism.
Oh my God, here we
I said, he said, take it off. I said, take it off for me. Good luck. Looking dead in the eyes, said, good luck. He didn't want to take it off. That liberal bitch walked the fuck away. So,
see, I don't condone shit like
you don't condone that, but BLM as a whole did and does. And that's why I say that movement is racist. Because any movement, any organization that that puts one race above another is in fact by definition racist. Can you agree with that?
Hell yeah.
Is that not at core definition what BLM is doing?
If you really want to be technical, that movement is no different than the KKK, just in a different standpoint.
No. All right, hold on. I wouldn't say they're on the level of KKK. I will say the new Black Panthers on the level of the KKK. The new Black Panthers, and that's what they call themselves, the NFA. Fuck, I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking.
I don't know what the fuck. I forgot the acronym. I've been drinking.
I know what you're talking about.
I've been drinking, bitch. But the NFA, whatever, new Black Panthers. They're the equivalent to the KKK.
Well, I told her, you know what? This is what's gonna happen.
We're gonna go into a civil war if this doesn't stop soon.
It's not even that. You cannot oppress any fucking race on the planet.
And then preach for equality in the same breath.
If you oppress, well, and it's not even just that. It's that, okay, let's
you
say,
can never achieve equality through oppression. It will never work.
Of course. Let's say for some god-awful reason, okay? Let's say, okay, blacks get into power. Let's say we do give them what
Didn't you already?
Right?
Didn't you guys already? Wasn't there already a black president? Obama? Flawed as he was. We already had a black president.
Yeah.
That's not enough, though.
Let's say we give them, whatever, what have you. Okay,
Guzzo, stop moving so much because your green screen isn't as strong as mine, and it's cutting out.
Yeah. Part of it is because I'm screwed back so far. Let's say, we put them on the pedestal that whites have been getting put on or whatever, what have you.
Right.
In the same amount of 450 to 500 years later, you'll have another uprising of another race. It's just not going to be blacks this time. It's going to be another race.
And I get that argument, but here's my current argument. If you're so against slavery and and black equality and all that, and you want black equality, why are you ripping down statues of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson? These people fought for you.
Yeah.
What are you doing? These are the founding fathers that fought for your rights.
Which also...
Yes, they had slaves. Yes, but do we put up monuments of Martin Luther King because he was horrible to women? Because he was. That's a fact. It's known. He was horrible to women, as were most men at that time.
Yeah.
No, we put up a monument of Martin Luther King because of the good he did in this world. Because the good he did outweighed the bullshit he did. Is that not still true of George Washington, Jefferson, and fucking Abraham Lincoln?
And that's the thing. We're not going to look at that because we're too focused. Society is too focused on the negative. They're way too focused on the negative.
It kills me, dude. You're hurting your own fucking message. A lot of people don't realize it. When Black Lives Matter first started, I was on board. Big confession there. Fun fact. I was 100% on board with it. The minute you started oppressing people, burning down buildings, hurting people, murdering people, you lost me. And you lost your message. And then here comes the cancel culture, because if you disagree with it, you're fucking fired.
Yeah. And I told the wife about this earlier. I said, I told her, I said, at the end of the day, I said, listen, we get rid of racism, we get rid of the pandemics, we get rid of the people in power. At the end of the day, there's going to be one person of some random race that's going to want that position of power at the end of the day for their own agenda. There will be that one person, and they will use that power to their own agenda. So at the end of the day, let's say we eradicate the racism.
Welcome to the Democratic Party. And do you think it's a fucking coincidence? And now we're going into part 2 a little bit, and I'm gonna be very careful not to go too far with this. But do you really think it's a coincidence that the hard left, the Democratic Party, is pushing all these socialist, Marxist views on America? Meanwhile, we're about to go to war with communist China.
That surprised me.
Do you think it's a coincidence? Because if you do, you're naive.
Well, no. Since when is anything that has to do with politics anymore a coincidence? Like, in all honesty.
Guys, we're going to take a brief break. I'm going to go get a refill. I am empty, as you can see. On YouTube, you may see a jump cut here. It is literally just to cut out the pause screen. We will be right back at it. And essentially, we're looking to finish the conversation and wrap it all back into why everything we've talked about tonight has to do with cancel culture, if not directly, indirectly. And the reason is because, in my opinion, all the things we've talked about, whether it was directly to do with cancel culture or indirectly, it has laid the bedrock for why these radical leftists can then go after these people, whether they're big names, little names. I mean, we might get canceled tonight. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting my viewpoint out. If you don't like it, suck my Italian sausage. No, in reality, if you don't like it, present your viewpoint in a logical, concise manner, and I will give it some thought. I'll give you the time of day, and I will debate you on it. Not even debate you, but discuss it with you using the Socratic method. I really enjoy that method. It's something that I used with Guzzo's girlfriend Storm. We disagreed on almost everything, and by the end of it, we found common ground on almost everything. So I think there's a lot of merit to that form of discussion, and I think we should adopt more of it in this country, because I think it would create a more equal unity. I think it would create more of a discussion where we could have it without burning buildings to the ground. But that being said, Guzzo, take it away. How do you view everything as a whole, everything we just talked about while we were muted?
It's all about censorship and division. That's literally the best way to put it. If they censor and divide us while hiding certain things from certain people,
divided we're conquered.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally simply put that way. Like, like, if you withhold certain information from, and we all know what I mean when I say this, if you withhold certain information from certain groups of people, you divide them.
You get them to believe your version of the truth.
Yeah, and not only that, you'll get the one group versus the other group, and then that just causes even more and more vicious division.
Oh, of course.
So, and that's what it boils down to, and it creates ignorance, which is also not okay.
And that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the really scary part, is that I don't think it's a coincidence, and this is getting into part 3 a little bit, but I don't think it's a coincidence that we're on the brink of going to war with communist China. Meanwhile, our Democratic Party is pushing Marxist communist views. Meanwhile, if you look at Ben Shapiro's book, if you read that book, his newest one, 3 Easy Ways to Destroy the Nation, I believe is what it's called.
Talk about a book.
It's a hell of a book. Check it out, because it rings in a lot of truth. A lot of shit that's going on right now that he's literally just pointing out. The whole book is based on it. I seriously encourage you to check it out. And if you buy a copy and you have the opportunity to go to one of his events, and you ask him to sign it, from what I've seen, he's more than willing to do so. I saw a Q&A where he did at a college, where a guy literally got on the mic, where he was willing to ask a question. He asked, "Hey, don't really have an opposing viewpoint, but I would love it if you signed my book," and shook my hand. And he said, "Come on up, let's do it." Signed his book, shook his hand, and the guy left happy. So you know what? Say what you want about that guy. What kills me is that people call him an anti-Semite. People call him a racist and say that he's against Jews. Do you motherfuckers know he's Jewish? Don't worry. I'll wait.
And you know, I find
he's traditional Jewish, meaning he literally does the whole Sabbath, does the whole fucking fasting, literally wears a yarmulke on his fucking head. But he's anti-Semitic? What?
Right. It's also funny because if you really think about it, I think it's funny because, in all honesty, when we have these conversations, how do you not have conversations like part 1 and part 2, I'll just say, that don't lead into part 3? Because
there's so much to talk about, right?
Yeah, and it's not just
and
that.
Guys, stay tuned, because there's a second and a third part to this conversation, and we are going to get into the deep and dirty. This is just the surface. This is literally just the surface.
Oh boy, is it.
We are going to get deep in this motherfucker. But for now, guys, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for watching this really long video. I think it's just about 3 hours long. We've been on the air for 3 hours, Guzzo.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna do my best to work Storm here to try to get her on cam. But that being said, guys, thank you so much. Guzzo, go ahead and promote your go ahead and plug your channel.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. He'll put it in the description or wherever he ends up putting it after he's done editing.
Of course.
As you guys know, as I said in the beginning, I have a YouTube, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. But the
What's
ones
Twitch,
that I mainly, my Twitch will be, www.twitchtv.com/GuzzoThisAO.
No, it's twitch.tv/.
It's twitch.tv/?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I keep.
Yeah, they got their own thing.
Yeah. So it'll be /GuzzoThisAO for that link. And also, YouTube. All you gotta do is type in Guzzothis, and my YouTube will show right up. Literally, all you gotta do is type in Guzzothis.
Give this guy a look, guys. He is an awesome voice. He definitely gives a different side of the perspective. And I may not always agree with him, and that's a testament. That's a testament to the Socratic method. That's a testament to our friendship, and that's a testament to equality. We don't have to agree to be friends. Guzzo and I have been friends for what, 3 years now? Close to it?
Probably close to it. Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah.
We've disagreed on so many different things. Almost everything, I would say.
Yeah.
And we've always found common ground.
Yeah.
And if that's possible, then so should the nation.
Of course.
We need to come together, guys. We need to come together, and we need to do this. Guys, if you haven't already, smack that follow button, ding my dong, hit the fucking bell, whatever you call it, so you get notifications when I go live. That being said, check my TikTok out. It's in my links. It's in my description if you go to my about. Also, check the merch store out. If you're looking to represent the Wise Guy Mob, there's plenty of stuff there for you, and more to come. That being said, I love you guys. Thank you for everything, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did, because we had a hell of a time.